Hey, it's me RJB, and I'm back. Today we've got ourselves something different from usual. We've got ourselves a match, or a set of matches, from the Starcraft World 1 vs 1 season number 22, from the semi-finals between Eminem, also known as Gangster Jose, against the player White and Black, known to most as the player Leebokgu. Someone in my comment section asked if I would want to do some of the Western fastest map, some games on the map. I've decided, you know what, I've been wanting to do exactly that for a while now. So I thought, let's do it. We've got Leebokgu on the Terran here, and we've got Jose on the Protoss. So let's dive into the match and see what these two players are going to deliver. I've got some good feelings about this one. For sure. Got Jose here on the Protoss. He's pretty good at Protoss. Sometimes he just build orders that I think are a little bit too stubborn, a little bit too behind on the meta, but they are actually pretty good, and he knows how to make them work most of the time. But can he make them work against Leebokgu? Because Leebokgu is considered to be a cut above the level of Jose. So can Jose face up to the challenge and deal a blow to Leebokgu in this very first game in this best of 7 set? Now do note, I'm not going to cast the entire set because that's going to take a long time, and I do think I will kind of lose my momentum if I start casting the series that long on the Western map, because I do have to admit I am a little biased against the Western map. I really do prefer the Korean map by a lot. And my preference for the Korean map does tend to take the wind out of my sails from time to time when I cast on the Western map. So there are some slight differences in terms of balance and advantages for some races. Also, I really hope you like the background music. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit more because I think it might have been a little bit too loud there. Just gonna turn up the game sound here a little bit because it might be not loud enough. Somewhere around there should be perfectly fine. So, to start with talking about the match, there's something here that I personally don't really see having much success. Now, that is this build order here from Jose. He starts off with a Nexus into 4 gateways. And he makes a Nexus after the pylon, then he gets 2 gateways and another 2. So the 2 Zealots coming out soon and another 2 very soon following after that one. Whereas Leebokgu went for a barracks before the supply depot into another 2 barracks, and as you can see, he's already scouting the map there with his Marines, and that is going to give him an advantage here over Jose, because Jose still has his Zealots in production. They only just now started. He's going to add on a 3rd Nexus even. That's a triple Nexus opening, as he's going to be very rich. And if Leebokgu doesn't manage to get any damage down here very early on onto Jose might just become so enormously massive with his absolutely superior income that Leebokgu might actually fall behind and even potentially lose the game here. Because as I said before, I do think Leebokgu is the stronger player here, but the stronger player doesn't mean much if there is a mismatch in build orders. He does find his opponent here though. The Marines are getting caught out. They're gonna get killed for sure. One of them gets killed, the other 2 make their way out because the Jose makes a small little micro mistake. But there he finds a lot of Marines, and he's not going to be able to fight against those Marines. He pulls back, takes a lot of damage on his Zealots as well. Most of the shields there are gone. More Zealots are on the way. Still no gas there in the back at the base. Got 700 minerals in total there. That's a lot of overmind. He's not really spending his minerals all too well. Focused on the wrong things for sure. Forge there, no Cybercore yet, no gas. Trying to get a choke up in the front. This is kind of a weird build order, if I'm looking at it as it is right now. He's going to try to keep Leebokgu out of his face for sure. Leebokgu has a lot of Marines, but no Academy yet. No Firebats or Medics. That's one of the downsides of going for a barrack into a depot. For some reason, you find yourself unable to get a very, very early and quick Academy with Stim and Firebats. But you do have more Marines to defend. So it's kind of a trade-off. You have more cheese power, so to speak, more defensive power. But then there's a small little time window in between 4 minutes and 5 minutes where you can't really do all that much because you're waiting for stim, which is delayed, and you're waiting for medics, which are delayed, compared to a 9 barrack opening with a supply depot before the barracks. It's weird, but that's just how it plays out. Instead, he goes for the 2 command centers there to boost his economy to match up with Jose's economy. Jose there is completely sound and safe, has a cyber core there finishing up 2 gas there, mining gas as well. Gonna go for a Citadel first, I assume. Citadel first, it is. I personally think going for a Robo first is better, but considering he couldn't afford the Robo yet, he went for a Citadel first. But I really do think a Robo is a better option, because you want to get that dropship out, or the shuttle to be more specific. You want to get the shuttle out very quick and soon and early, and start throwing some attacks at your opponent. Now Jose here is going for a super macro-oriented build, so it doesn't really matter all that much, because at a certain point, he'll have so much money coming into the bank that he can get everything he wants pretty much at the same time. It becomes more so an issue of is he fast enough with his actions to get everything at the same time, and attack with everything at the same time, to do everything at the same time basically. Is he fast enough? That's pretty much going to be his only limitation. Is he fast enough to utilize all the money that's coming in? Because I do think that one Nexus build order on this very same start might be a better choice, because you have less money coming in that you can actually use to its fullest extent. Whereas if you've got too much money coming in, but you can't use it all, you're kind of wasting something, in my opinion. But that's just a small little note. If you got too much money coming in, there's something getting wasted. The Singularity cards are already on the way very early, because attack and armor also on the way, and zealot speed. He's not going for drops at all. He's going to go for a macro mass gateway opening. So Leebokgu's got double scan there on the way, so he's going to be in on the information. He knows what's going to be coming in. He is preparing here for a drop, I think, although there's almost nothing here on the side, no side vision either. But usually you would be facing something like a drop. But drop is not yet on the way. Drop is not yet on the way. There's this first scan. He gets the information he needs, finds that there's no Robotech. No Robotech anywhere at all. He finds a lot of gateways though, and that is going to cue him in on what Jose is up to. Jose wants to be the gateway master and send out a mass gateway army. He basically wants to mass out as fast as he can on this double Nexus build order, get level 1 armor, level 1 weapon, both at the same time, and speed, and storm potentially as well, and some Templars to just break through the front door. Now this is one of the small imbalances that you can potentially abuse on the western map. And that is because the opening here is so damn wide. This is 3 blocks, another 3 blocks, you get a total of 12 blocks here in total. How wide the opening is. That's very big, because most openings well, let's say like this is like 9 blocks, well 10 blocks. Then you look here and it's 9 blocks wide. So this is 3 entire blocks wider than every single other base on the map. So it's hard to defend, because as the units attack from the front, you get an automatic spread. So as many units as possible can attack this wall at the same time. So you have to invest a lot of money into getting a very strong choke, a very strong wall, to survive those initial frontal attacks. Because on this build order that Jose is doing, he's gonna be very strong with a lot of gateway units, with level 1-1 upgrades, maybe even shield, but shield is lagging behind a little bit. You don't see any Templars on the way yet. The Templars are here though, they're finishing up now. You got a lot of Zealots here as well for anti-drop, to defend against drops, whereas Leebokgu here back at home is now hotkeying his SCVs because he knows drops are probably on the way at some point. Jose is playing this very defensively. A lot of cannons being placed on the top side to defend himself against spot abuse, where tanks will be placed here above and fire on the next side, and then maybe even send a nuke over. But he's now maxed out. Maxed out, level 1-1 has finished for the armor and weapon, and he's gonna go for the attack. There's a wall here, a lot of bunkers as well. Marines are stimming to the front and getting into the bunkers, and they're going for the counter-attack. A lot of units, oh, he's gonna break through there, killed a depot already. Storm's going down behind the wall as well. It's gonna be a very, very close fight here. Well, the bunkers do look to be... Oh, a mist storm there. Hits nothing. The tanks in the back there are saving the day by focusing on the Dragoons. The Zealots did break through, kill a lot of bunkers, kill a lot of units, just kill a lot of units. That's basically the bottom line. Bunkers and peoples as well, but doesn't manage to break through in the end. In the end, the gateway mass attack was not enough, because Leebokgu basically turtled up really, really well, and it's also level 1 attack on those Marines. A lot of medics here as well to heal up those Marines as they stim into the fight. More units coming over. He's still building up and balling up Templars and gateway units. The drops are on the way as well. Finally, a little bit late. I really do think that if you play against someone like Leebokgu, you want those drops coming in very, very early, because this guy can turtle really, really well. He can turtle amazingly well. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to focus on turtling. Although he's being a little bit sloppy by not getting any vision up on the sides with hovering structures, he's mostly relying on his scans to getting information, which I do think is a little bit lackluster. You can definitely see that he's not really taking Jose all that serious. His APM has dropped far below as usual. He's just focusing on defending because he knows that this attack that's coming in here on the front is going to be easy to defend. Though it doesn't look that easy, because he's actually breaking through once again. But the moment he actually breaks through, most of Jose's units have already died, or are already on low HP. So he does manage to break through, he does manage to kill the depots, he does manage to storm units to death, he does manage to kill some stuff, but by the time he's through, there's nothing left. And Leebokgu just wins the exchange again, and he's just getting richer and richer now. 84 SCVs against 92 probes. His base is starting to fill out now as well, as he's adding on more factories, might even lift up those barracks here in the back, getting level 2 attack for the Marines as well, just to make sure that they can stim down whatever they need to stim down. Got another proxy base here coming up. Getting a Stargate there, Stargate here as well, getting Arbiters and 3 beacons for future carriers and future Arbiters, and the first drop there is finally entering the middle to fly in on top of all those units that are attacking the front. So Jose now finally getting a more diverse attack pattern prepared to start hitting Leebokgu harder than before. Armor for Marines also on the way. He's really going to keep relying on the Marines. Because why stop relying on the Marines if you've already invested upgrades, and you might as well just keep using them until they actually do become useless. But I don't think they're going to become useless anytime soon yet. Level 2 armor for Jose there. His Zealots are very tanky, very strong. Level 1 attack and armor finished for the tanks. Level 1 armor for the Marines soon to finish. Level 2 attack also soon to finish. Shuttles still have speed there on the way, so they should soon fly in once the speed upgrade finishes. Recall there on the way, no interceptor capacity on the way yet. This is going to be a proxy base for drops to keep it outside of the vision of Leebokgu. Because Leebokgu keeps scanning this portion, so he keeps getting information on what Jose is up to. If Jose proxies that drop tech right here, he can keep it outside of Leebokgu's information sphere. So he comes in over the top side there, a lot of Marines, a lot of turrets as well. Their change direction starts, although the Templars SCVs are running away just in time, although they're still getting stormed. Gets about 24 of those SCVs there. But I do think this actually helps Leebokgu out, because now his SCV count is on a more tolerable level. With his Terran, you can get by on about 60 to maybe 70 SCVs, whereas Jose on 98 probes has like 20 probes, maybe even 30 probes too many for how much he needs. He doesn't need these many probes, he doesn't need that many money, he doesn't need that much gas. He's got a lot of gas coming in, but he's not really spending that gas or spending those minerals. He's just going to become richer and richer while having a smaller mass than is optimal. And having a smaller mass than is optimal kind of results in what we've been seeing so far. He breaks through the front, but doesn't get anything done afterwards. And Leebokgu just rebuilds the front, and the same thing happens over and over again. And that is in part because Jose has way too many probes. Way too many probes. And that of course means that you've got like 15 Zealots or Templars or Dragoons less to attack with. And those 15 units might just make the difference in actually succeeding or failing. Comes in with another drop there on the bottom side there of the command center. Starts to storm. There's 4 storms in total. He hits the Grand The Grand Slam Storm Extravaganza gets pretty much every single SV that was there killed. Only 25 of them left of the 70 that were alive. Kills some turrets as well, and this is where you start to notice that Leebokgu is going to have to start taking this match seriously. Usually you would see Wraiths or Valkyries to defend against shuttle drops, but he didn't go for any anti-air whatsoever. He's just relying on the storm dodge. But what is this? He's moving out for the attack. After getting stormed, all of his SCVs dead and gone, he goes for the attack because he's got enough money, he's got enough gas, and he's got an absolutely massive tank army. Got 37 SCVs, but 184 supply. That's about 20 more tanks than usual. So they can only take 2 supply. He's maxed out. He only got 40 SCVs instead of 70. So this is the time to go for the attack. This is the time to strike and make it all count. Locks down some shuttles to stop the drop. Beautiful move there with those lockdowns. I missed the lockdowns themselves, but he managed to take down those shuttles before they could actually hit anything whatsoever. And now he's just going to keep advancing. And Jose, who's got a very small army, he's going to keep trying to hit shuttle drops to make Leebokgu run out of money. But his army is way too small to actually match up with those siege tanks, so Leebokgu should have an easy time rolling him over. Storms him down once again. There's the lockdown on his shuttle. The shuttle doesn't really... The lockdown doesn't really do anything though, because the shuttle is already empty. The Templars get a couple of SCV kills, about 18, maybe 16, somewhere in between. But Leebokgu is knocking on the front door, and Jose, as I have mentioned many times before, has no mass, no army. Nothing to defend with. There's a small little army coming in here to defend. 2 storms might help clean out some of those tanks and marines, but in the end, the Zealots don't really stand much of a chance. They do clear out about 8 or 7 of those tanks, but they do break through. A drop comes in as well at the same time from another angle than usual, but the shuttles don't get any results. There's a proxy base on the bottom side, but proxy base might be a little bit too late because Leebokgu has already broke through the choke. All he has to do now is wander into the base and finish his opponent off once and for all. And Leebokgu is now playing this seriously. He's down 350 APM all the way up from 200 when he was slacking off. But he realized that now is the time to really bring down the Hammer of Judgment. That's exactly what's going to happen. The Hammer of Judgment is knocking on the door, breaking down the door, and there's nothing left to keep this Hammer of Absolute Judgment out. Nothing for Jose to shield himself with. He has some Dark Templars, but there are Vessels, and Vessels really render Dark Templars kind of useless. So he's going to try to fly them into the tanks and unload them on top of them. That might actually kill some of those tanks, but Leebokgu unsieges most of his tanks, and a lot of marines in there as well that kill the Zealots being unloaded on top of the tanks, and now the tanks are just gonna move forward. More units on the way from back at home, more Zealots and Dark Templars walking across the middle. Gonna try to cut off some reinforcements with the Dark Templars, but there's a turret right here. Although the units are gonna just walk into the bunkers and die to the bunkers for sure there. So he's gonna crawl deeper into Jose's base, and Jose really should start contemplating doing a different build order, a different strategy. He's been trying this strategy and this build order for years. And for years, it has not been working against the Koreans because they just make easy work of it. It just doesn't work. Just massing out mass gateway units and sending them into their deaths into a twirling Terran just doesn't work. As we see right here. He's trying his hardest, but it is just not a good build order. If your opponent knows exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it fast, and they're doing it exceptionally well. Like Leebokgu. Not to give him too much praise, of course, because he did kind of slack off, which is kind of disrespectful. But there's kind of a feud going on between these two. These two players hate each other. These two players hate each other a lot. Anyway, Jose is gonna fall over and die that now that all his probes are under attack from the siege tank. How many kills is this one gonna get? 41. And another 14. Beautiful explosion here as well. It's gonna take a screenshot of that because it looks beautiful. The boom, the explosion, it's massive. So yeah, Leebokgu wins the first game between these two players. kind of as expected. I kind of expected this to happen. Let's go back to this little score chart here. Do note that Jose is not playing on the name M&M, but it's the same person. White and Black is playing on the name White and Black. Let's find the second game. I want to do about 2 games between these two, see how they both unfold. Some of the games are very long between these two, so I'm definitely not going to cast the entire set. Some games are very long, some games are really short. Let's just go over to game number 2. I'm going to do about 2 games, maybe 3 games between these two, and then call it a day. I hope you are enjoying the action. Game number 2 is loading up. Let's hop on over to the match and fix the names at the bottom side there. Because now we've got Leebokgu on the Protoss and Jose on the Zerg. And Jose got himself the worst possible spawning location you can imagine. That is the 6 o'clock or the 12 o'clock base. Now, of course, Leebokgu himself had the 12 o'clock base just last game. He managed to win against Jose, but that's more so because Jose did a suboptimal build. And I don't think Leebokgu is ever going to do a suboptimal build in probably his strongest matchup, the Protoss against Zerg. He is an absolute monster in this matchup. Now, of course, do keep in mind that Protoss is always favored in this matchup, but Leebokgu's Protoss against Zerg is exceptional. It is exceptionally strong, as history has proven many times over and over. It takes a player like Cumber Kasasu or Brain to beat this. And even Brain really struggles against Leebokgu's Protoss in Zerg against Protoss pretty much every single time. Although Brain does take some wins here and there. But most of the time, even Brain just flat out loses hard against Leebokgu's Protoss. Of course, in Protoss against Zerg or Protoss against Terran. In Protoss against Protoss, they're about even, although Brain has been winning more and he's been losing in the last 1 or 2 months. That aside though, let's focus on the match. Jose starts off with a very risky choke because he didn't bother scouting the middle, so he's gambling on Leebokgu not going for a rush attack, but Leebokgu went for 4 gateways. Very uncharacteristic, but it's the 4 gateway opening, but he hasn't found Jose yet. That's probably also the reason why Jose went for that single sunken choke with only 2 Zerglings. It's very risky, but it's working out here. It's working out. Although Leebokgu can try to sneak in, he's instead deciding to gather up more zealots to maybe break through with brute force. But while he's waiting, more creeps are on the way and more sunkens might morph. So there's a downside to waiting to go in. More Zerglings have arrived as well, and Jose might just defend this without much issue. He's gonna try to break through by killing a sunken and maybe wall towards the backside, just go straight in. But he's lost a lot of his zealots. He might even lose 2 more, maybe 1 more? Oh, 1 more, but this one is on low HP. He's gonna fight the Zerglings first. It's a sunken on the way back at home. He's buying time. Great moves here from Jose. A little bit of luck is involved here. A little bit of luck, but also a little bit of mistiming from Leebokgu. And in the end, Leebokgu doesn't really achieve much with that zealot attack there on the choke. So Jose now is setting himself up for a great late game or a great mid game. Well, Leebokgu already has gas all the way there back at home. Getting a Cyber Core as well isn't getting it forged, because why would you need a forge if you got Zealots to defend yourself? And if your opponent pretty much cannot go for a Zergling all-in, because against Zealots, a Zergling all-in is bound to fail. Goes in once again, gonna try to walk through, but instead he's just gonna go for some Sunkens just to keep Jose on his toes, to keep using those Zealots, to keep bringing down the pain, harassment, and whatever you can imagine. So takes out 1 Sunken, gonna take down number 2, it's gonna take down number 2 there as well. Just killing the Sunkens, just making sure the amount of Sunkens in the choke doesn't grow to be too big. Oh, he forgot to kill the Sunken and takes 2 or 4 or 5 or 6 more hits on the Zealot. But now a bunch of Zealots there are having a free opening into Jose's base. Jose is one Sunken back at the base, at the main there. A couple of Zerglings are spawning to keep those Zealots away from the Sunken, but he's too late. Instead he goes straight for the drones and stops the mining, stops the income, and that is very bad for Jose there. Losing income as a Zerg is bad, losing drones is even worse. This is basically the same as getting dropped and losing a couple of drones. So yeah, he's now at 17 drones. He lost about 3 or 4 there, lost a lot of mining time. Is falling behind on Leebokgu, who now is adding on 2 robotics back at home here. Finally adding on a forge as well. He's still only on a single nexus, but he's adding on a second one. Doesn't have a mid build here, doesn't have a proxy base on the middle. Instead he's keeping everything inside of his own base. And still being a pain in the butt here for Jose, who is now forced to spend a lot of minerals on Zerglings instead of on drones. And spending money on Zerglings always hurts. Also, he is supply blocked. Well, was supply blocked, but now is supply blocked again. So needs another overlord on the way. Once again, Zealots coming in for the attack. He's just going to keep harassing with the Zealots, going for the Zerglings. Zerglings are trying their best to defend, but the amount of Zealots is so big that there's not much of a contest going on here. And he's going to lose his choke here. Just Zealous. You don't lose the choke with just Zealous, and this all comes down to the very risky opening that slowly escalated more and more because he just didn't have the right amount of Zerglings and Sunkens finished and prepared to keep these Zealots away from hurting you. And now he's really suffering the pain. Jose is trying to adapt by building Sunkens back at home here and getting a very quick Hydralisk den to make some Hydralisks. Zealots are... Leebokgu waits a little while. He wants to have his Reavers finish first before he goes in for the attack. Because with those Reavers he can take down Sunkens and Hydralisks. He can try to go for a distraction attack in the front with the Zealots and then go for a drop in the back here with the Shuttle and the Reavers. That's most likely what he's going to do, but, you know, the Reaver with the Shuttle is diverse. He can go for a frontal attack or an attack elsewhere. The Shuttle gives him the mobility to do as he wants to do. So Zerglings coming in from the top side. They're going to try to do some harassment, but there's a cannon there at the top side. Also, a Reaver is still there, so might shoot on the Zerg. The Zerglings turn around. They don't want anything of that cannon whatsoever, so just flying around to do some scouting. He finds the Shuttle, sees it flying across the map. Reaver shoots on the Zergling. Only a single Zergling goes down, but at least it's something. Jose gets the information he wants. It's a lot of information. He practically sees everything there is. Zelda's still there in the front under Overlord. Hydra's going for the attack. Shuttle with the Reavers comes in hot. He's gonna fly away because the Hydra's are chasing. Hydra's don't have upgrades yet. The speed is finished now. No range yet because he's running so far behind on schedule that he doesn't have range yet. But the Hydra's are chasing those Zealots around. Although they're mostly trying to get the Shuttle. But Leebokgu does a great job there at keeping those Zealots away, keeping those Hydra's away from the Shuttle with the Reaver. And he decides against attacking here. He decides against going for the attack. He just wants to draw those Hydra's out, but he's losing Zealots in the process. And Shuttle actually gets sniped. A big mistake there from Leebokgu that I wasn't expecting at all. I wasn't expecting that to happen. But now their Zealot speed and the Hydras are gonna have to have a very good micro here. Jose's gonna micro... gonna have to micro those Hydras very well if he wants to keep those Hydras alive and win the game here. Because now there's a Shuttle, once again, with Reavers inside, I think. One Reaver. Lost 2 without doing anything with them. Shuttle also might get sniped down because he's trying to focus it down, but the Hydras are overextending into the Zealots. Zealots now going to the right side of the base. Shuttle is flying on top, looking for a way in. More Reavers are on the way back at home. He's got range finish as well. Got Lurker S-Pack now on the way. He's going to try to keep and stay in this game and stay alive, but the Zealots are strong, and the Reaver unloads. The Shuttle goes down, but the Reaver stays alive. Reaver's getting focused down there, though. Reaver might go down. Reaver stays alive with very small amount of HP. Now the Zealots are taking down circles there on the bottom side, trying to open and pry open a way for the Reaver to go in onto the drones, but the Reaver goes down, takes a couple of Hydralisks with him. Zealots still, though, fighting and killing the Sunkens in the backside there, but the Hydra's going to flank them and clear them out. More Zealots are botting up there in the front. Another drop there has been cleared back at home. 2 Reavers, 3 Reavers in total are finished up. No Shuttles there, though, but he can't defend himself with those Reavers. But his game is actually more even than I thought. The only difference, of course, is that Jose has 22 drones. Leebokgu has 54. So even though Jose has fighting power at the moment, he's going to fall behind quick and fast very soon. Because Leebokgu's production ability is just way, way higher. Goes in there, there's a lot of Zealots, a lot of Reavers. Oh, he doesn't want to fight this one. He wants to pull back and retreat back home. So basically, the game looks somewhat even if you look at it with ignoring the drone and the worker count. But the worker count is the big difference, and the supply count is the big difference. Supply count definitely is the big difference maker. We look at 100 supply difference. We don't have an observer yet for Leebokgu, so the lurkers actually might make a small difference because there are 4 lurkers on the way. 3 lurkers on the way. So those lurkers might keep Leebokgu away for a little while, but Jose is still very small. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hatcheries. Number 7 is on the way. Oh no, that's an Evo chamber. He's got 6 hatcheries. Not a lot to defend himself with or stay alive with. 32 drones, but now a mass attack is coming in here on the front side. I think he's got level 1 attack on those Zealots as well. Yeah, those Zealots are pretty strong with a level 1 attack. There's no upgrades on the units for Jose yet. He does have a lurker there. Lurkers are keeping those Zealots and Dragoons away for now, because there's no observer. He goes in from the right side once again, tries to sneak in from behind. The Reavers are unloading, but on top of a lurker, but the Reavers are keeping those Hiders away so damn well. Picks them back up and is going to try to get in a little bit closer towards the drones while Zealots are tanking the summons. Unloads 4 Reavers next to the drones. That's one shot on the drones. Another shot is flying right at them, but it can't explode because the drones are blocking the Scarab. So the Reavers don't actually do all that much because they're stupid and dumb. But this one is going to get the money shot and gets another 10 drone kills there. We're going to fly back and forth. There's still a Reaver in there. Oh, there we go. The Reaver went down. All the units went down as well. So Leebokgu, despite having such a massive supply lead, because he doesn't have an observer, the lurkers save the day. 4 kills on that one, 3 kills on that one, a lot of kills, a lot of damage mostly. They didn't get kills, but they did a lot of damage to a lot of Zealots and Dragoons. But now the observers are arriving on the scene, and the observers are going to make a difference here. So just going to finish Jose off once and for all. I do admit though, Leebokgu hasn't played very cleanly, because he just assumed this would be easy. And once again, Dragoons tried to break through, but not achieving all that much. But this is basically a game of bleeding Jose out. Just bleeding him out, and growing bigger and bigger, and at some point, Jose will be a pushover. He will be pushed over without effort. No upgrades. 4 hatcheries in the front, 1 in the back. As I said, 6 hatcheries in total. The lurkers don't really do much anymore either because there's observers. So the observers are hanging all the way in the back there because Leebokgu is no longer giving a damn. He's just massing and attack moving and preparing drops. Observers moving to the front. There's nothing to detect the observers. Zealots are so strong right now. They're so strong. Still level 1 attack. He isn't getting upgrades either. He's not getting any upgrades or doing anything fancy because he just knows that if I send gateway units into attack, Jose is going to die. He just knows Jose is going to die with minimal effort, and that's exactly what he's doing. Minimal effort. Making Zealots, making Dragoons, making some Reavers with shuttles, and just sending them into attack because the game is pretty much guaranteed to be over. Hatcheries are going down, lurkers going down, hiders going down, 40 supply for Jose here. This is a slaughter. It's mostly the sunken, the static defense that is keeping him somewhat alive. But the static defense, in the face of superior numbers, also doesn't really do much. And there's the GG. Quick 2-0 there for Leebokgu in this best of 7. But that's it for today. I'm just going to keep it with 2 games because this next game is very long, and I'm not interested in casting a very long match. Not today. I'm sorry, but that's just the way things are at the moment. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. This was, these 2 matches were played as part of best of 7 for the Starcraft World 1 vs 1 semi-finals. The final score I won't spoil, but I guess you can guess who won the series based on these 2 matches we've seen so far. So time to do the outro. I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it very short. Goodbye.